Right, so, back in the 1960s, when space was, like, this big mysterious thing, yeah, the Americans were chucking anything up there. Dogs, chimps, sandwiches, whatever. Now there was this monkey. Name was Jerry. Bit of a genius, right? They trained him up to press buttons and eat bananas in low gravity. Standard stuff. But here's the thing, Jerry starts doing extra work. He's rerouting circuits, running diagnostics. At one point, he corrected the trajectory mid-flight using a pencil and a juice box straw. NASA's watching all this on the monitors going, "Who's doing that?" Engineer goes, It's Jerry." They couldn't believe it, so instead of just bringing him back and putting him in a zoo, they promote him. True story. He gets a little uniform, tiny badge, Simian Flight Officer, Level 2. He even started attending meetings, sat there in a swivel chair, spinning slowly, eating grapes. Now, and this is mad, he sends another monkey up in his place on the next mission. Delegation. Absolute professional. And when they finally retired him, he lived out the rest of his days in Florida with a hammock, a tiny laptop, and a subscription to Sky at Night magazine. So yeah, Jerry the monkey. First primate with a pension. Right, so, this one takes place in Belgium. Quiet little zoo. You know the kind. 2 llamas, a sleepy lion, and a monkey. That's a bit too clever. Now, there's this Capuchin monkey named Ricky, bit of a character, like stealing keys, mimicking stuff, tapping on glass like he's filing complaints. Anyway, one morning, the staff show up, and the gift shop's been robbed. Whole drawer of cash missing. All the snow globes gone. Even the fridge magnets, the ones with pandas on, even though they've never had a panda. Police come down. No signs of forced entry. No alarms. It's like the thief knew the layout. Meanwhile, Ricky's sitting in his enclosure, staring at the security monitors like he's auditing the place. Zookeeper says he loves the CCTV. Don't know why. Later, they're reviewing footage. Security guard walks by on the screen. Casual. Ricky goes mental, starts screeching, pointing, banging the glass. Proper meltdown. Turns out that's the guy. The night guard. Zoom in. Slow it down. He's sneaking out with a sack full of what looks suspiciously like glittery snow-based memorabilia. Police arrest him the next day. Says he thought nobody would suspect him. Especially not the monkey. Zoo throws a little party for Ricky. Gives him a medal made from a biscuit tin lid and a banana. Next week, he's in the local paper. Primate detective foils gift shop heist. Apparently now, he sits in on morning briefings. Still watches the CCTV. Just in case. This one happened in a small town in India. Middle of nowhere. Barely had Wi-Fi. But for some reason they had elections. Now, the locals were fed up. Said all the human candidates were useless. Potholes everywhere. Power cuts. Cows just doing whatever they liked. So one lad, probably as a joke, writes in the name of a local monkey. Lived near the market. Bit of a local celebrity. Name Ramu. People liked him. Didn't steal. Didn't throw anything. Used to help the old woman who ran the fruit stall. He'd hand her bananas when her back was bad. Proper gentleman. Anyway, vote happens. Bit of a protest thing. But somehow, Ramu wins. By 12 votes. Legit victory. Now obviously, a monkey can't technically be mayor. But the town sort of leaned into it. They put a little red sash on him, gave him a desk, which he mostly sat under, and said, "Right, honorary title, symbolic leadership." And weirdly, things improved. Street got cleaned, because Ramu kept picking up litter and throwing it at people until they used the bin. Fights at the market stopped. No one wanted to argue in front of the monkey. A pothole finally got filled in, because Ramu fell in it, and people felt guilty. Tourists started showing up. People came to see the mayor. Some brought bananas as bribes. Others just wanted a photo with the only politician who didn't lie. He held the title for 2 years, then quietly retired to a temple garden. Still gets fruit deliveries every Tuesday. So yeah, Ramu the monkey. Elected official. Did more than most humans ever bothered. 2. This one happened in a small town in India, middle of nowhere, barely had Wi-Fi, but for some reason they had elections. Now, the locals were fed up, said all the human candidates were useless, potholes everywhere, power cuts, cows just doing whatever they liked. So one lad, probably as a joke, writes in the name of a local monkey, lived near the market, bit of a local celebrity, name Ramu. People liked him, didn't steal, didn't throw anything, used to help the old woman who ran the fruit stall. He'd hand her bananas when her back was bad. Proper gentleman. Anyway, vote happens, bit of a protest thing, but somehow, Ramu wins. By 12 votes, legit victory. Now obviously, a monkey can't technically be mayor, but the town sort of leaned into it. They put a little red sash on him, gave him a desk, which he mostly sat under, and said, right, honorary title, symbolic leadership, and weirdly, things improved. Street got cleaned, because Ramu kept picking up litter and throwing it at people until they used the bin. Fights at the market stopped. No one wanted to argue in front of the monkey. A pothole finally got filled in, because Ramu fell in it, and people felt guilty. Tourists started showing up. People came to see the mayor. Some brought bananas as bribes. Others just wanted a photo with the only politician who didn't lie. He held the title for 2 years, then quietly retired to a temple garden. Still gets fruit deliveries every Tuesday. So yeah, Ramu the monkey, elected official. Did more than most humans ever bothered. 2. This happened in Argentina a few years ago. Small town, dusty little train station. Only 2 departures a day, one to the city, one to somewhere people actively avoid. Now, the station had a pet monkey. Name was Diego. Nobody knew where he came from. Just turned up one day and stayed. He was well behaved most of the time. Used to sit on the ticket counter, chew pence, occasionally wear a conductor's hat when no one was looking. Anyway, one hot afternoon, staff leave the cabin door open on this little diesel train, and Diego just walks in, starts pressing buttons, pulling levers, sitting in the seat like he's about to clock in. People think it's funny, until the train actually starts moving, dead slow. Like walking speed, but still, it's going. Everyone's panicking. No driver on board, no passengers, just one monkey, and momentum. Couple of workers chase after it on a motorbike. Takes them 2 kilometers to catch up. They climb in, pull the brakes, and find Diego just sat there, arms crossed, like he meant it. Turns out, he'd been watching the drivers 4 months, mimicking movements, figured out enough to get the thing going. No damage done, but after that, they kept the cabin locked, and gave Diego an official reflective vest that said, "Observer only," just in case he tried to unionize. To this day, he still sits by the tracks, watching, waiting, remembering. This happened in Japan. Little countryside zoo, tucked behind a petrol station, and a vending machine that only sold corn soup. Didn't really join in with the others. Used to sit with bits of fruit, lining them up by color. One day, a zookeeper drops a clipboard near the enclosure. Tomo grabs it, starts smearing mango on the paper, then a bit of blueberry. Then he dips a twig into a puddle and starts blending it. Looks like he's doing modern art. Zookeepers find it hilarious. They frame it and hang it in the staff room. But then, a local art student sees it and goes, "Hang on, that's actually got balance and texture." Fast forward a few weeks, they give Tomo a brush, some safe, non-toxic paints, and he starts churning out these colorful swirls and splashes, abstract stuff. They sell one at a fundraiser for 12,000 yuan. That's like 80 quid. Suddenly people are commissioning him. He's got a little studio corner in the enclosure with brushes and canvases. Visitors watch him work while eating ice cream shaped like panda faces. Gets so popular, he's in a group exhibition next to a human called Kenji, who only paints elbows. Tomo outsells him. Now, and this is truish, one of his paintings hangs in a Tokyo cafe. and it's signed with a paw print and a banana sticker. People say it captures the chaos of nature versus confinement. Others just say it looks like he flung paint during a sneeze. Either way, Tomo got his own following. Monkey artist. This one happened in Thailand. Big resort, proper fancy, infinity pool, fruit platters, little towels folded like elephants, the whole lot. Now the staff start noticing something strange. Room service orders going missing. Bananas, pastries, even bottles of mango juice, all vanishing before they reach the rooms. At first they blame the new guy. Then they blame the delivery system. But one day, someone checks the CCTV and they see him, a monkey, wearing sunglasses. Not just any monkey, a local macaque who had apparently figured out how to get into the resort. He used the service lift. He would casually swipe food trays. He even rode the lift solo. Got in, pressed a button, waited politely, then ding, 4th floor, buffet level. Helped himself, left nothing but crumbs and cheek. Now, here's the mad bit. Guests started spotting him on balconies, lounging on chairs like he'd paid for a suite. One tourist thought he was part of the entertainment, took a selfie with him. He's in the background of at least 12 Trip Advisor reviews. The hotel had to install keycard locks on staff lifts. They even added a line to guest info. Greater than, please do not feed animals. Even if they appear confident. And the monkey, he still shows up now and then. Doesn't steal anymore, just hangs around the lobby like a retired legend. Some say he's waiting for one last croissant. Others think he's scouting for a rooftop bar. Either way, he made his mark. No room key, no reservation. Still got the best views in the building. In Vienna, home of Mozart, Schnitzel, and serious people in turtlenecks, there's this kid, name Emil, a bit of a recluse. Never speaks, always wears gloves, doesn't blink much. But when he sits at a piano, magic, absolute prodigy. He first shows up at a youth recital, 8 years old, oversized tuxedo, legs dangling off the stool. People roll their eyes. Then he plays. And it's not just good, it's emotional, haunting. Someone in the front row drops a wine glass out of sheer awe. Next thing, he's on talk shows. They say things like, he channels the spirit of Beethoven through his tiny, trembling hands. He releases an album, Nocturnes for the Soul. It goes viral. People cry to it on trains. He's booked at a sold-out concert hall. Red velvet seats, chandeliers, a man in the third row wearing a monocle just for the occasion. Show starts, spotlight hits the stage. Emil waddles out, bit shorter than usual. He climbs onto the bench. Someone notices he's eating a grape. Another hears cheeping noises. And that's when the pianist from the opening act leans in and says, greater than, wait, that's not Emil. That's a chimpanzee in a tuxedo. Security freezes. Crowd gasps. He starts playing. Flawlessly. Turns out, the real Emil was a chimp from a local sanctuary. One of the handlers used to play music in the afternoons. Classical, mostly. And this one chimp, let's call him Emil, because at this point he's earned it, started mimicking it. Eventually learned whole pieces, by ear. Nobody noticed sooner because, honestly, he kept nailing it. He still performs sometimes, just not under the name Emil anymore. Now they call him the Pianape. There's this high-end wellness retreat in California. You know the type. Scented mist, soft jazz. People called Skylar, who wear linen all year round. They offer all kinds of stuff. Crystal alignment, breath coaching, trauma tapping, and one-on-one therapy sessions in these little wooden cabins that smell like sandalwood and resolution. Now, one therapist becomes especially popular. No one knows his full name, just goes by Dr. G. Quiet type, doesn't say much, but clients rave about him. He really listens. I felt seen. He just got me. Some say he gives out grapes during sessions. Others say he just sits in silence, but the silence feels powerful. One woman claimed he blinked once, and she forgave her father. Waiting list builds. A-listers start flying in just to speak to him. He becomes a minor legend in the mindfulness scene. The retreat never advertises him. word of mouth only. Mysterious, healing, transformative. Then one day, an actual psychologist attends out of curiosity, goes into the session, sits down, opens up, starts sobbing halfway through, not sure why, looks up and squints. Then she says to the receptionist afterward, "Sorry, but is that therapist licensed? Because I'm 90% sure that's a chimpanzee in a scarf." Turns out, Dr. G was a retired therapy animal, used to work with kids, somehow wandered into a cabin during staff turnover, and the first guest just assumed he was the therapist. Nobody corrected it, because, well, people left feeling better, and now he still has sessions on Wednesdays. Takes payment in grapes. No refunds. No judgment. My sister was getting married, and everything was falling apart. The venue cancelled, the florist ghosted, and the caterer got salmonella. Real mess. So she hired a wedding planner someone recommended on Facebook. No website, no portfolio. Just a guy named Fabian. He showed up to the house in a velvet scarf and a long coat. Even though it was July, he didn't shake hands, just nodded slowly and said, "I see it already." The wedding, the colors, the spiritual rhythm. We all assumed he was French. He wasn't. He refused to use email. All communication had to be on parchment or via voicemail in haiku. His big idea was a forest ceremony, but indoors. We asked what that meant. He brought Morse, just actual Morse, covered the reception tables in it. He said the cake should be something primal. What we got was a pile of figs and a cinnamon stick shaped like a question mark. For the aisle, he said no music, just ambient forest sounds and the whisper of commitment. The DJ downloaded a 40-minute loop of birds and distant waterfalls. Still, everything went weirdly well. People were moved. My aunt cried when the best man read vows directly into a conch shell. The couple loved it, said it felt spiritually aligned. Fabian didn't stick around for the reception, just quietly left halfway through dessert. Later, while cleaning up, someone found his coat in a tree, and under it, a banana peel. That's when we put it all together. He never actually spoke, just made deep humming sounds. He used his feet a lot more than average, and we never saw him eat anything but fruit. Once, just a whole mango, skin and all. So yeah, turns out the wedding planner was a monkey, a literal monkey, wearing a coat, planning a wedding, and honestly, one of the best we've ever worked with. Greystone-on-the-Moor was the sort of town where nothing ever happened, until it did. On a drizzly Tuesday morning at 7:42 a.m, Pam, the town librarian, let out a scream, so loud it knocked 3 books off the return cards and made a pensioner drop their croissant in the cafe next door. A body had been found, face down between the gardening section and true crime. Very still, very cold, very dead. Detective Inspector Lennox arrived in record time. He didn't like libraries. Too quiet. Too many secrets. The corpse was curious, male, wearing a tuxedo, 1 sock, no shoes, and, inexplicably, a monocle. The ID in the pocket read, Lord Percival Fanshawe 4. Lennox narrowed his eyes. Something felt wrong. No one had seen this man enter. No staff remembered checking him in, but the CCTV showed someone or something slipping into the library just before closing time. The footage was blurry, but the figure moved strangely. Too fast, too fluid. Pathology called the next day. "We've got the results," said Dr. Franklin, sounding unsettled. "You might want to sit down." "I'm already sitting," Lennox replied. "The body isn't human. The bones are wrong. We ran the DNA. It's a monkey, a rhesus macaque." There was silence on the line. Lennox stared at the wall. "You're saying I've been investigating a dead monkey in a tuxedo?" "Yes." The monocle was glued on. The ID was fake. The whole thing, the name, the outfit, all a setup. Lennox didn't sleep that night. Instead, he returned to the library. It was quiet. Too quiet. Then, movement. A tail flicked out between 2 bookshelves. A flash of fur disappeared into the romance section. Something hooted. Softly he said nothing. He didn't follow. Some things didn't need answers. And somewhere, out in the quiet corners of Greystone, a monkey in formal wear was still at large. There was a man once, also they thought. He went by the name Elias Tripp, a quiet, wiry fellow with calloused hands, and eyes like he'd seen the world turn backwards. People said he had a gift. Horses that bucked, bit, or refused to run would come the moment he looked at them. He didn't speak much. He didn't need to. He'd walk into a stable, place a hand on a flank, and the wildest beast would bow like a swan. By the late 1980s, Elias Tripp was legend. Trainers across Britain came to learn from him. Owners paid fortunes to have him whisper to their racehorses. There was even a rumour that he turned a violent Derby reject into a champion by simply humming into its left ear. The press called him the Hoof Whisperer, but no one ever saw where he lived. He'd arrive early, leave before dark, never accepted checks, only bananas, oddly, and envelopes of cash. People thought it was eccentricity. Genius is often strange. One day, at a stud farm in Yorkshire, a young journalist named Rhiannon Cliff was assigned to shadow him for a human interest piece. She watched him soothe a 900-kilogram stallion with nothing but a tap on the nose and a prolonged blink. She found it enchanting. She also found it strange. Why did he avoid eye contact in crowds? Why did he move only by knuckle dragging when no one seemed to be looking? And why, when startled by a pigeon, did he climb onto the roof of a stable in under 4 seconds? She dug. She searched public records. Nothing. No birth certificate. No address. No family. One night, on a whim, she stayed behind at the stables after everyone left. Hidden in hay, recording quietly, waiting. At exactly midnight, Elias returned. Alone, shirtless, barefoot, she held her breath. And then he removed his hat. And underneath was not a man. It was a chimpanzee, fully grown, wearing a tailored trench coat and trousers. He sat down, peeled a banana, and began softly whinnying at the horses. They gathered near him like disciples. Rhiannon's camera shook in her hands. She couldn't believe it. No one would. But there it was. The next morning, Elias, or whatever his real name was gone, vanished. Nothing left but a neatly folded trench coat, a pair of size 2 loafers, and a chewed-up sugar cube. No one ever found him again. But to this day, every now and then, a rogue trainer appears at struggling racetracks. Small, quick, gentle, uncanny. Horses listen, owners cheer. And when someone tries to thank him, he's gone, leaving only muddy footprints and a banana peel. They say if your horse is troubled, and the wind smells just faintly of peanuts, the Hoof Whisperer might be near. He wasn't a man, he never was.